Thinking about how you can get your agentic AI initiatives into action? One way could be Center of Excellence. Today, I am in discussion with Satish, President, Technology and Transformation, Deloitte India. Let's understand what goes behind it, what's the thought process, and let's get into action. Satish, we've been doing a lot of work in agentic AI, and of course, we have been working on building a center of excellence to work across our various verticals, different use cases. What do you think is the importance of a center of excellence in what we are doing? Also, the organizations that we are catering to, they also are wanting to build center of excellences. So, how do you see it?
Firstly, Mamita, it's a pleasure to be here and it's nice to have this conversation. At Deloitte, our investment into the Agentic AI Center of Excellence has been very well thought through given the scale and size of investment. And that applies to all the organizations as well that we serve as Deloitte, right? We have three strategic objectives: scale with trust, speed, and consistency. We often see that when there is no center of excellence, the efforts are fragmented. Some of the areas that we actually work on, the learnings are very duplicated, and also there's uneven governance. But with the Center of Excellence, there is a lot of focus, structure, and consistency in whatever we are trying to achieve and we are trying to implement. We also see that in a Center of Excellence, we are able to centralize the expertise. We are able to accelerate the various deployments that we are able to do, and also the capability building aspects, and align AI as far as our ethical standards are concerned, what are our immediate business priorities, and also our short-term and long-term vision. And I'm very sure that this applies to a number of other organizations as well, and it will be very beneficial.
So when you started this, and when we thought about this and it came from you, you are the executive sponsor, there is an ROI thing going on in your mind, right? I mean to say that it's an investment which is much ahead, maybe. I think we started little ahead of the market. So when it started off as a thought process that we should put up a COE to get this agenda going, like a ROI angle to it, like what are the benefits that you saw, what was going on in your mind?
See, as leaders in any organization, and that applies what we are doing here at Deloitte, and as leaders in every organization that we serve, it is always very important to lead the change and not necessarily react to it. And this is something that whatever we do should be sustainable, should shape the way things move ahead. And as far as agentic AI is concerned, how are we able to scale the sort of deployments and the solutions that we actually put out there? How is it serving the business outcomes and are reusable, so that we are able to take it and replicate it across the board. We are seeing that agentic AI is changing things very, very quickly, and the whole time frame between idea to implementation is also massively shrinking. So it is important to be the first mover in this case, move quickly, put these things in various areas, and also enterprise-wide. Because the true learning here is actually moving away from the traditional silos that we see in business functions, but bring all of these functions together, and whatever we do applies to the entire organization. And as we are doing this, it's important to measure the return on investment and have a very measurable way that can be communicated as well. So Mamita, as you are leading the charge for building agentic AI within Deloitte, what are the strategic steps that you are thinking?
COE as a concept needs some very, very important pillars to think through in a paper. There should be reusability of what we build. There are certain things that you need to put out there, and one way which we thought could be that we create our own, our place where it is democratized. So when we build agents, we thought that it's a good thing to have some elements of it democratized for the clients, for our own enterprise, how everybody can start using it, because agentic AI is that. You can have modular components and build and stitch the entire story together. Second important is capability. I think it's very critical when we started thinking that how do we form this set of capabilities. You need an LLM capability, you need business translators, you need a domain expertise. How do we get them all together into a capability stream and build it upfront? So we can't think it as we are going because it's moving super fast. So we need to build a capability. That's a second pillar. The third pillar is, can we have agents only do the talking, right? The agents only shown in action to make a lot of sense to our businesses and see which are the core functions. We can get our guys to look at it. So show and tell is also one of the very strategic thinking that you have to do away with, a lot of presentations, words, because agents can't speak and talk about the agentic workflow themselves. So 3 important pillars. One is, how do we create an area where we have reusability of assets. So if you call them as individuals, agents, single agents, multi-agents, how can you put them, how can you democratize it? Second, capability. And the third is, how can you enable that entire user-friendly view, that you can observe them and see how it goes, and that makes our life easier from a more enterprise level. So these are some of the strategic, and of course, like you said, that every step, let's measure the efficiencies that we are bringing in. And if we don't do it before we start, that measurement governance office has to be set right in the beginning. I think that was a horizontal that we thought about.
So Mamita, given all of these developments that you talked about, the 3 pillars that you spoke about, what are the early trends that we are seeing in the market? What are some of the use cases that we are seeing in the market that everyone can possibly benefit from?
So the early trends, I think, core business processes. Number 1. So any core business processes like finance, like invoice processing or reconciliation. Finance transformation is one big vertical. We are seeing a lot of early adopters of multi-agent workflows. Second, a lot of domain-wise, like if you look at BFSI, I think some of their very core business problems, like say underwriting, or you take any kind of corporate banking use cases, they're all getting end-to-end agenticized. So we are seeing some very good early trends in the market where businesses are coming forth and saying, let us make this entire process. Another side is also the efficiency created due to software development lifecycle or any kind of operations that is happening. The efficiency that the agents are showing, as whether it's a single agent plugged into the system or end-to-end help in the developer's lifecycle, is something which is getting adopted pretty fast because pretty modular in nature and people are picking it up. So these are 2 sides of the spectrum, one which is touching the front end, another which is bringing in efficiency in the work which is getting done by the developers and operators. So Satish, I've been in meetings where, agentic AI is one more passing trend. We have seen Gen AI, this will also too shall pass, should be adopted, again it will change. What is your views about this particular passing trend kind of a conversation?
So Mamita, I believe agentic AI is already unfolding, right? The future is here, and the difference is whether organizations are going to embrace it quickly, because that is the way it is going to be moving forward. Agents and multi-agents are going to be key in whatever one does, and we are now into decision making and the power of decision making so that humans and agents can work together collaboratively, and therefore intelligent business enterprises get created, right? So there will always be a human element which will be used to tweak, to refine, to make changes, but we use agents to make some of the decisions that were being made earlier by the humans. And that is where, in a very collaborative manner, we are going to see the organizations move forward. So organizations that are able to see this much ahead and can lead the way will emerge successful, right? So the organizations that are going to react to it will possibly be left behind. That is how we see, and this is going to be extremely important for everyone moving ahead. So I don't see this as a passing trend or a buzzword that one needs to possibly look at.
Correct. And absolutely. Thank you so much, Satish. And I think we all are in this trend and the train. And I think organizations have to be on this train. Just that I think the way they see and measure outcomes, how they see ROI will be in different phases, but it is here to stay. We can't deny it. So yeah. So thank you, Satish. I think
Thank you.
wonderful.
Absolute pleasure to be chatting again. Thank you.